Welcome back to the Tropical Hawaiian Barbecue Cookout Podcast. We both have special shirts to talk. I feel like we should
Dude,
probably be smoking a pig right now.
I am. You're not? I
Yep.
did just buy a smoker, actually. That's
First
about it.
off, smoking
First
a
off.
pig in a smoker is different than what they do, is where they bury a hole in the ground and they leave it under there for 5 days, then get so
Yeah.
drunk they don't know where it is.
Yeah, we used to, back in my younger days, a buddy of mine had some property and we did an annual, like, smoke off like that. You just bury it for about 2 days and just let it cook. And then you unbury it.
I don't even like putting things in the crock pot to cook. I'm a can of tuna type of guy.
Just the 2-minute burrito.
Yeah, something simple. I mean, if I feel like if it takes 2 days to cook, then what's worth eating? Like when they do turkeys, if it's not in the oven and someone else is not handling everything, I'm just not about it.
Mhm. Yeah, so you're a huge fan of DoorDash.
I'm mostly a fan of like, I'm not wasting any more minutes of my life in a meal I'm going to enjoy for 10 minutes. That's going to cause me agonizing pain for the rest of my night.
Oh, okay.
I
I
make
got
more
it.
sense now, don't I?
Yeah, I'm one of the, I don't know, I have a stomach of iron. I think it's something to do with my Irishness or something. We were used to eating potatoes out of the dirt, so pigs are like, "Hey, at least it's meat."
Insta rice is a godsend. Dude, it's been a long time. We got so much to catch up about. First of all,
I
life
know.
changes. Life changes. What's
Life
changed?
changes a lot. Okay, so I think we talked what? Like maybe October of
I think
last year, was it?
a little bit before that.
Was it?
I would
I,
say
I cheated. I cheated
September.
and looked up the video.
What
And I
number
think
was
it's
it?
590.
Oh yeah, we're about 300 episodes down the line.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was yeah, I think it was like October or something like that.
Did
We
you
were
think
right in the middle of our season of Four Guys at Once.
did you think you'd be back on the show?
Honestly, I thought I would, but I thought it would be me reaching out to you, and you
Now I
honestly beat
messaged
me.
you and you were like, "Hey,
Yeah,
wait a minute. I was just thinking
yeah,
about you." I was like,
yeah, yeah.
I don't know why I started getting like I was thinking of you for some reason just randomly. I was like, "Oh, must be that synchronicity."
It's the t-shirts.
It's the t-shirts. They connect us through a bond
Yeah,
of $20 t-shirt sales.
right. Yeah, Walmart shirts. It's yeah, no, it's that McDonald's thing. It's he goes, it's not. You don't remember what people are always gonna say, but you always remember how they make you feel.
You make me feel happy inside.
Yeah, I think you make me feel
I
like a
didn't even know
good
you were
bud
having
too.
a kid. I felt so left out. I was like, is this first of all, when I saw pictures of you with this kid, the little baby, is this your son?
Yeah, he's actually 2 years old.
Oh, wait a minute. Did we not talk about your son the first time you were on? I feel like we totally skipped over that.
I probably mentioned him in passing. At that point, it was old news to me. So is
Fucking 2 years. See, because when I was seeing pictures, I was like, is he like babysitting? Like, you ever see those photos that people put up on Facebook? They're babysitting somebody's kid and then they're acting like it's their kid. Like,
it's less
look,
than
it's like, look how good these
yeah,
guys look. They would make a perfect kid. And then you
yeah.
realize,
It's less intimidating for them to slide into a chick's DMs if he's holding a child, because then the girl's like, "Oh, I don't know who's messaging me. Is it the baby or is it him?"
it's the step right before you get a dog where you're like, I'm just gonna
Yep.
see if I can handle a baby. So can we borrow your baby for like a month? And then after like a week, they just want to throw it away.
Oh, it'd be an hour. Your first time, don't try more than an hour.
But what
Well,
happened with the shoulder?
oh, the shoulder. All right, yeah. So let me move this chair forward so it's not making a bunch of squeaky sounds the whole time. So right, so
Wait, I like
two,
the creaks. It creates suspense.
so 4 months after our meeting, it was like almost 4 months to the day. I went out snowboarding. We got a couple little it's called Mount Holly, but it's actually an old like landfill that just got so high they're like, we can't keep doing this, guys. So they just put a bunch of so they just grew some grass and plopped up some chairlifts and called it a day, I guess. And so we were up there and I've fucked my shoulder up before snowboarding. Never had to get surgery. I didn't have to go to the hospital or nothing, but I hurt it. So I was trying to take it easy or whatever. And then me and my friends are there. It was actually baby boy Bert from Four Guys at Once. We were supposed to record that night. And then like I ended up having to go to ER, yeah. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spoil it. But so we were snowboarding, whatever, and I was feeling real good at my bindings and my board. It was just great snow, great powder. Went to go drop in on a quarter pipe, and when I came in, I was just feeling too, I guess, I don't know. I'm full disclosure, I'm not a great snowboarder, so I'm not a professional, but I'm like, I'm gonna drop it on this quarter pipe.
Oh,
32
Jesus
years
Christ.
old.
What the?
Well, I caught an edge, and my board basically like slingshotted me, sort of, uh, about like 3 or 4 feet out, but like the quarter pipe was about 8 feet up, so like I just got launched out and just had a nice little like 6 foot drop. My shoulder broke the fall, and then I had to get pulled out on the they have the snowmobiles that come and save people. I had to have the snowmobile come and grab me, throw me in the stretcher, drive me out of the place. And I had to, and those assholes, I think they do it on purpose to people that get hurt. They drive you underneath the lift where everyone that's going up real slow looks down and they see you. All I could do was just sit here and go like this because I'm like, I feel like an asshole.
Yeah.
So like, but everyone was like, yeah, woo, and I'm like, ah, this
Did you know
sucks.
anything was wrong when it happened? Like, what was your thought when you hit?
Okay, so when I got up, I knew my shoulder was just fucked. Like, I got up,
Did you have
I
COVID arm where you couldn't lift your arm above your, like
uh
most people would get the second shot?
no, I never had that. Well, yeah, I guess though I couldn't move my shoulder. Like it was so what I snapped was I snapped the acromial joint. It's this ligament that connects your like your clavicle and your collarbone, like
Uh-huh.
your clavicle and your shoulder blade, and it connects it right here. And it's that's what I snapped, just completely clean. So this bone right here just sprung up like a diving board, and it was just sitting there. And like so, I'm taking off my. I had to get out of my bindings, and I'm sitting there, and I had to get help from my friends. And I'm leaning forward, and I felt everything just move with me when I
Oh,
knew it wasn't supposed to. And then that's when the feeling of like queasiness set in. I was like, oh man, this isn't good. And so got out of my bindings. I was like, all right, guys. I'm like, I got to go back to the lodge. Will you take my snowboard for me? And I tried to like, I was in this like weird panic or adrenaline mode. And I tried to run up the hill because we were way in the back. So I had to go up the hill and around to get to the lodge. I made it like 20 feet up the hill. I sat down and I was like, you guys need to get me the snowmobile guy.
what were they making fun of you? Because you're like, no, you don't need a snowmobile.
At that point, no, because they saw the bone.
Oh shit.
So once we made it like at like the next couple of days, whatever, like I was posting pictures of it and told people to play around with it in Photoshop and
Yeah.
stuff. And at that point, then they were like making funny of me and stuff because it was funny because it was Bert's first time. So we were giving him all the pointers and all the tips and trying to tell him how to be careful. And then I just straight dropped it.
That's what happened with my uncle. We went snowboarding in Pennsylvania, a place called Camelback, and the whole it's my first time, but the whole ride up there, he's like, I'm just gonna fucking smoke you young kids. You kids don't even know what snowboarding is. I'm gonna show you what snowboarding is. His first ride down the mountain got broke, I think, two of his ribs.
Oh,
Like, because the weird part about where this mountain goes is there's like a, it looks like a barrel, like in a wave when the wave kind of comes over you. There's a side of the mountain that curls like that, but it's all ice. And he was going like the side of it, and I guess that's where he fell. But I didn't know until the ending of the trip. I come down like to the end of the mountain. There's a little lodge, and I went down there. My grandmom's eating. I'm like 15 years old, and she's eating. She's like, "You hungry?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Where's everybody at?" I didn't see anybody. And they go, "Well, your uncle broke his rib on the first ride down, so they've been gone for like 6 hours." And I'm like, "You didn't tell me he's in the hospital?" And they're like, "It doesn't make. He's
you're just
old."
riding around having the best, living your best life.
I feel like an idiot. I was like, this is the best day of my life. And I hate the ski lifts because they never stop it for me to get off. So every time I'm like getting off, I'm like, and that's the anxiety I get the whole fucking ride up there. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. I got to get off and not try and fall in front of all these people. And then every time
Right.
I go, this chair always swings and hits me in the back of the head and I fall face first into the snow. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, just slow it down. It's like you speed it up as soon as I get there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've definitely taken my spills there at the top a few times. It's yeah, so when after I went to the hospital, they're like, "Yeah, you fucked yourself. Like, here's a bunch of drugs. Go
Never
home."
gonna throw a right hook again.
And, and it then so then I had to go and see a specialist or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to go under the knife." So I have this metal bracket, and I don't know if I showed you a picture of it at all. I have this, so now I have this metal bracket in my arm that it's gonna be get now I have to go back under the knife to get it taken out because it was temporary. It's just let's see what the camera. Yeah, so
I
that's my
thought you
shoulder.
thought you were sending it to me.
Oh no, I figured I'd show it on the camera. You can see it plain as day. That's my shoulder. That's my insides. And so it's so basically it's this bracket that comes out like this, goes down, it comes under the other bone just to hold it in place so that ligament heals. And so now that the ligament is healed, I got to go back under and get that bracket taken out. And the doctor goes, "Oh, well, you get to keep the bracket." And I was like, "Thanks, I guess."
All because you decided to take. Why'd you just why at any moment? I think any adventure, anything in history you can look up, decide about someone taking a risk that they shouldn't take. It's like, let me look at this half pipe. It's like you could have easily
Yeah.
just not chosen to, have you ever in your life decided this, I've done this half pipe before, I'm going to do it again?
No,
That
but
was your first time.
so what happened was, like, you know how you talked about your uncle going up the side of a mountain and like carving it like a wave?
Yeah.
So I just got done doing that on the
Is that
side
how
of.
I explained it? That sounds fucking like I'm on acid.
Well, it sounds like when you explain it, you're like like it looked like
He
some
was
ice
going
that
down
came
and there
up.
was that little ice tunnel and he goes to curve in it and flip.
Oh, okay, never mind. I was when you pictured a wave, I was picturing like the length of a wave to where it was
It was
like
legit
longer.
like a wall of ice, like you would see, like if you're looking at one of those surf pictures and there's the barrel with the little hole.
Yep.
It was like an ice cave that he was going into, and he just
Oh,
went up the
okay.
side of it. Next thing you know, he just fucking cracked down. I guess he
All right.
didn't
I
come
didn't
out.
do that. That's not what I did.
Okay.
But there was like a side of like a mountain that was like vertical, and so like I went up it and I was like carving it like you would if you were riding like a wave, like surfing. And like I was dropping down, getting speed, coming up, and like riding it all sorts of ways. So it was the best ride in my life. You know, I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. And so I come down this hill,
I'm on
came
cloud
down this
nine.
hill, yeah, straight flow straight. You know what I mean? And I'm riding. I come around this bend, and then there's the quarter pipe, but the quarter pipe has a trail that goes above it. You know, so like I go up that, and I'm like, I'm gonna ride into this and do that again. But I dropped into front footed heavy
Fuck, man.
and caught that edge. Yep. But you know, it's funny. Well, actually, not. I guess comical to me. Other people are like, "Oh, that's sad," you know. But like, it's not even the first time I've fallen and had to get metal on me being on a board.
What do you mean?
uh, so like 6 years ago, I was longboarding, and I fell while longboarding, and
What were you doing on the longboard?
I don't even want to say it.
Were you trying to slide like some of those kids do?
No, no, I can do all that.
You got the gloves and all, don't you?
Well, yeah, I don't use them anymore, but no, I was. So a buddy, I went up to Port Huron, which is like about an hour north of my house at by Lake Huron, and there was a skate park that was closing. So my buddy was taking all of the old ramps and putting them in his backyard to make his own skate park. Well, we had to move them, so we were using our longboards, and so we were running down to the skate park, throwing the boards on, or throwing the ramps on, pushing them down to his place, and then just had this assembly line going. And so after dropping something off, I hopped on my board to kick myself back down, hit a crack, fell on my elbow, shattered my radial head, and
Do you just have bad luck with this type of stuff?
I had to get 9 screws.
Oh my God.
Wrong way. Yeah, I had to get 9 screws. Oh, I guess you can't really tell.
I'm so happy that I can walk through a metal detector without setting it off naturally.
There you go. You can kind of see it now.
Now, can you
Wait.
Can you move any of this stuff like functionally?
My shoulder is already fine
Okay.
because
I
it
hear the
wasn't bones.
rotating click.
That's the chair.
Okay.
But my elbow, if you look at like my left hand, I can rotate it completely like this, and I shit you not, that's all I have.
That's terrible.
Elbow. Yeah, you see I have to come around the mic like this. You can see the scar and that weird knuckle thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I done goofed. I mean, I've gone 47 miles an hour on a longboard, Rob. And
you don't need to do
I was
that,
fine.
though.
I was fine. And then I kicked once and fell and did that to my shoulder or my elbow. But so you want to hear something really ironic to lighten the mood? Because this sounded like it got real heavy.
It did.
Like, I'm over it. You know, at least I didn't slip on a grape in a store, right? Like it wasn't like, oh, I slipped on a grape. You know,
yeah,
like
but with the grape, you probably get some money out of it.
You probably would. But it wasn't something dumb, you know.
You fucking slipped going on a half pipe on a snowboard. That's kind of dumb.
Yeah, true.
I
But
mean,
it's a
it's
better story than
yeah,
slipping on a grape.
it's more badass.
But you want to hear something really ironic about my snowboard? It's a it's a powder sucks. It's stepchild powder sucks board, and on the side of it there's this little logo, and it says bigger hearts than brains. And I think I might get that as my next tattoo because it's
So you get it
just so
tattooed on your
ironic.
elbow.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, well, I was thinking maybe well, now it's either my elbow or my shoulder. But I was thinking about getting like band-aids tattooed on one of the scars too, because I thought that would be funny.
They had I always like seeing like people's tattoo designs. They had a person get a tattoo of a girl's name on his back, and then they ended up breaking up. So he got a marker to cross it out as another tattoo. And I was like, that's smart. Like I like that type of stuff. It
Yeah,
sucks. You get tattoo of someone's name on your back and you can't never find a way to replace it.
I would never get a girl's tattooed name on me.
I strictly have to date a girl with this name.
Right? Well, yeah, well then how do you break the ice with that? Like the girl, like you guys finally get together, that you take the shirt off and her name's already on you.
Just be like, oh my God, I got your name tattooed on my back. Really? And
That's
then it's
weird.
that's Steve-O's bar trick. He has your name tattooed on his ass. So he goes, I bet you I have your name tattooed on my ass. And they're like,
That's
all
true.
right. And he pulls his pants down and says, your name. And he's like, oh my God.
You know what my one buddy has? He has a bee tattooed on his knee, and it's holding a fucking balloon.
Why?
Because he's the bee's knees and he likes to party.
That doesn't make any sense. There's no knees involved into the thing.
It's tattooed on his knee.
Yeah, but that doesn't, the bee has to have a knee.
Well, the bee has a knee. Do bees have knees?
Probably. We just don't see them.
I don't know. We need to get a hold of an insectologist,
My,
or what are they called? An entomologist?
entomologist. Yeah. My buddies I already talked to. I have a couple friends who are beekeepers.
Ooh.
One sent me the picture of a black widow the other day. It was like the size of like your mouse for your computer. And I'm like, Jesus. And he's like, yep, found this in the old batch. And I'm like,
But
what
that's
the
the
fuck?
male, right?
Yeah.
The male, I think, is the big one, and the female is the tiny one.
I've
Right?
come across a small one when I was a little kid playing on a tree. And then I ran inside the house. I was like, I just saw a black widow. And they're like, no, you're not. Shut up. And then they call me a liar. And I was like, okay, I definitely encountered one. How could I describe it if I never knew what one looked like or have ever heard of one before?
Yeah, that's true. How would you do that?
Facts.
But you saw it.
I saw it.
So I don't want to say fuck your family, but fuck them. You knew what you saw.
I would say fuck my family at that point. There are so many times I've said some shit and people are like, that's not true. And they look it up and they're like, holy shit, it's true. I'm like, yes, thank you. I'm tired of feeling like the conspiracy nut here. Jeez.
So what else is new, man?
Nothing much. Just I
We
guess
survived. We survived a pandemic.
if that's what you want to call it. Call that like staying home for a year.
Yeah, we like a year from now, we'll all laugh at this. I'll laugh about this whole pandemic thing. Well,
I don't know. A lot of people
not all,
died.
not all of us, obviously, but
There are some people that are like, what the fuck just happened with my life? And I'm like, hey, where have you been the rest of your life? I don't know.
yeah, no, it's in Michigan, we got hit really, really, really bad in Michigan. It's but it's because it's so fucking dumb. It's so fucking stupid here in America. Like all the states that are like the states you hear about during like politics, you know, like whenever there's a big election, you always hear about like what, like New York, California, Texas, Michigan, Florida. Those
Well,
are like the
they lied about Florida. They said Florida was this cesspool and all this stuff. They actually lied about it because they chose not to follow restrictions. And it turns out they're actually doing better than everybody.
yeah, I'm in the state that did the worst.
I'm like, what the fuck?
I'm in Michigan, but that's what I'm saying. But like but when you look at like the numbers of the states that like have the most deaths and stuff, it was all the states that are political, all the swing states, all the states that are always in the news because somewhere like, so like in Michigan, for example, you know, in the very beginning, our governor was like following like the science of what the science knew, right? But somewhere in between the threatening of her getting kidnapped, there was a whole kidnap scheme that was happening. There was our own capital got stormed like months before the national capital. She got caught flying down to Florida when she was telling people in Michigan not to go to Florida because her dad was ill. But then her dad was seen in a Tesla like 3 weeks later here in Michigan, and she used money from one of her foundations but she has to use now campaign money or something like that. Don't quote me on that exactly, to pay for a charter plane to go down there, and the pilot didn't even have his FAA license, and it's the same plane that all the big corporate businesses in Michigan use to fly all over the place, and they let her use it for free. So don't tell me now we have a bunch of corporations in our governor's pocket. Like it's
I can't
fucking
I
insane.
can't even talk about it this episode. I've talked about it way too much. I
Right.
literally
Oh,
tweeted at
I'm
Elon
sure.
Musk and I'm like, Elon Musk, just either if you can't do my show, come to my house, we'll drink a beer on my back porch, and you can train me to take down the corporate elite. That's all I'm saying. I'm offering it up there. I don't care if you have to turn me into half robot, whatever. I am more than happy because like dude, it's everything's a little bit crazy right now. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah,
I didn't even know
it's
you
a
had a kid. And he's
yeah.
two. I'm like,
He's two. Well, he's gonna be two. He's gonna be two in August 31st. So when we talked, he was a year and 2 months old.
good
Yeah,
for you for not like mentioning it every third word like every other person does. Did you know I have a child? It's like, yeah, you said it 5 times. He's
yeah.
non-disclosed gender. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't give it. I don't
He's
know
a
your
boy,
kid. Yeah.
and my kid acts 100% boy. He's crawling around in the dirt.
Well, we're not gonna hit that topic on this one either. Good God.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. Yeah, that's something else. That's
Now, did the shoulder time, like since during lockdown, you really didn't have to go to work and stuff? That was actually kind of like perfect timing for it all to go down.
Yeah, I had 2 months off, and I got an okay job where they do some workers comp, or not workers comp, but like short term disability. And so, and then in between that, Biden came through with his stimulus plan, and we got our taxes. So that helped with my little nest egg. Because you remember last time we talked, I was looking for a house, but now it's so damn crazy that like looking
Yeah.
for a house isn't even an idea right now. Because like people are offering $20,000 appraisal fees or appraisal guarantees.
The housing market is going to crash. I've been calling it for a while and I'm calling it again here. Just be careful.
I don't think it's gonna
They're
crash.
saying it's all good and it's going to be it's the best it's ever been. I'm like, that's exactly what you would say if you know it's about to fucking crash. Don't give me
Yeah,
that shit.
everything's great.
Well, they're like, it's like that commercial where the dude puts the duct tape or whatever, the seal of flex on the fucking tank. Everything's great. He's just slamming it down on the
Flex
fucking
seal, just
fucking
yeah.
fully kicking bodies in the closet. Everything's fine. Everything is
But
going to be a-okay.
the reason why I think this is my opinion, the reason why I think it's so high strung right now, where there's like so little houses and everyone's trying to buy and everything, is because of the moratorium on foreclosures right now.
What?
They have that moratorium. I think that's how you say the word is on the foreclosures of homes. Like people can't get foreclosed out of their home by a bank right now because of the pandemic.
Oh, what
You know,
state's
remember
doing
that?
that?
I think all the states.
I'll say my state's like, no, 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 motherfucker. I remember they tried to get it like you have to let people be late on their electric bills and shit like that. But after like a month, they were like, no, fuck that. They're gonna pay their bills or they're not gonna have power.
Oh shit! What state are you in?
Maryland.
You're in Maryland, yeah. Yeah, that's right. I didn't know that.
No,
Damn.
they offer free Krispy Kremes if you get a vaccine in your arm. Did you see all the vaccine photos? Everybody's taking videos and of like scanning their arm with like with a metal thing or something like that, and
Okay.
noticing they put a chip in them, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on right now? Either
Okay.
someone's really creative or someone's an asshole.
Someone's an asshole and really creative because I'm gonna debunk all of that right now, okay? I mean, it's anecdotal evidence, but so in my job place, we have induction heaters and we have UV curing adhesives, so we need UV lights. So I'm sure you've heard the thing about people talking about them like, oh, they're putting bioluminescence in the skin. It's coming with the vaccine, or there's metal in the vaccine. Okay, so because of this, we all played devil advocate. There was a bunch of people that got their vaccines at work, and they stuck their hands or their shoulders, right underneath an induction heater, to where if there was any metal in their arm, it would immediately start heating it up. So an induction heater, what it does is it heats up metal but nothing else. So you know how like when you have like your ketchup, it has that metal tin on it, and it's stuck to the plastic. You know what
I
I'm
get
talking
it.
about?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just trying
yeah.
to see what
So
you're talking about.
okay, so that metal, it's sealed to that plastic by heat, not
Okay.
by an adhesive, but it's sealed to it by heat. And it's a machine that heats the metal only and not the plastic, and the metal gets hot, seals itself to it. So we had friends and coworkers who just got the vaccine, put it up to the induction heater, where if there was any metal there, it would be superheating the metal in their arm and they would feel it. And
Did you ever
nothing.
think the chip was plastic?
But
I'm
then
not.
what?
I
How would
don't.
the phone? How
I,
would the phone stick to it then?
I don't have a belief in any of that. I don't think that's what it is. I think there's. I've talked so much about the government bullshit. I think it's a lot of like.
It's
It,
always important to question.
yeah, I think it's a little bit different. I think there's more of like inner workings of like secret like organizations and companies like that are like somehow this giant monopoly feeding into a giant like Illuminati style system.
See, it's interesting you say that because I think it's the exact opposite. I
Why do you
think
not
this
think of the Illuminati?
because I think that this just showed how inept government and this thin fabric of society and how everything works is is just so fragile that there is literally nobody steering the ship. I think that there is no Illuminati. I don't think that I think that we're all just on this rock hurling through the earth and nobody really knows what the fuck they're doing. We're all just doing our best.
Well, that's 100% what it is. But I also believe that these small countries have giant like Mr. Monopoly types where they're like the
Oh
owner
yeah,
of the
there's a
game board.
league. Yeah, there's
I
a
don't
league.
think all
Well,
the countries are secretly connected to one person. I think each country has their own individual one person. I don't think Biden's ours. I think there's some dude that's behind it all who doesn't want the. If you have power, a
yeah,
true power, you don't care about the face or the image. You want someone. It's kind of like the queen.
you're
Like,
talking about bureaucrats. Yeah,
well,
people that aren't voted in, they just have a bunch of money, so they make calls.
yeah, it's like, well, the queen is like the face of it all, but she doesn't have any legit power. If she wants to say, I want to start a war against this person for photoshopping my face on whatever, no one's going to be with that. Everyone's going to be like, you're not fucking doing that. But if they want to slow make a war, they will. Like, I'm not a fan. Like, they talk about like Biden's ending the war in Iraq. He's ending it on 9/11. I'm like, we could be out right fucking now.
Yeah,
He's just choosing 9/11 because of the optics of like
symbolism.
symbol. What the fuck? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
There's so much bullshit that's going on. I'm like, that's why they want you to be in your home so they can just do it all. Why? It's like, are you going to go when you're getting drunk or something? Are you going to do it while your parents are awake or are asleep? You're going to do it when they're fucking asleep. So if you're in lockdown, you're inside your house. You can't go outside to see a bunch of people moving crazy shit, aliens in the middle of the street. Get them the fuck out of here.
yeah, yeah. No. I get the idea that there are people that are doing their best, but it's a bunch of people, like you said, 50 countries, and they all have their hand on the wheel. So they're
Mhm.
coming at the iceberg, and everyone's pulling this way. I want to go left, and no, I want to go right. Symbolism. I didn't even mean to use that terminology, but that's literally where we're at. And then because of that, and we just slowly just bump into the Titanic or into the iceberg like the Titanic did. And let's just hope that we have more lifeboats than the Titanic did.
I mean, I don't know. Why haven't they fixed natural disasters? That's what I'm worried about. Like we have so much technology to get to Mars, but yeah, we can't stop an earthquake. We can't stop a hurricane. We can't stop anything. We just let it happen. So I look at that as like maybe that's how they keep the population down.
Well, I don't think the population is going down. It just keeps going up.
It
We're making
definitely
it too
plays a
easy to
part when
live.
a fucking tsunami comes in and kills a couple billion people.
Billion.
I'm talking about Japan, man. A few people
Oh,
are
yeah.
going down.
Yeah. Yeah, they had Fukushima. Remember Fukushima?
Yeah, I remember a lot of. I know my buddies. They what is it? We just had I think 5 or 6 different natural disasters happen that killed like 200 something people each time.
Here in America?
Yeah, we just had a giant truck like crash and kill like 200 something people.
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember how. When was that? I might have to search it up.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the natural because I know like if you want to like natural disasters, they have their own thing. There's like natural disasters that happen in developing countries and natural disasters that happen in countries like ours. Because like if you go to India, the same tsunami that hits India is going to kill 100 people, and here it's going to kill like 6, and like 3 of them are going to be these old people who are just too stubborn to leave their house.
Okay, I typed in death on Twitter.
Oh God.
I got some good options here. Oxygen remains an essential tool for saving lives. Investments in O2 delivery have the power to curb COVID-19 deaths.
Wait.
Oxygen
They just said
oxygen shortages threaten total collapse of dozens of health systems.
okay. So when you first said that,
The
like
old people, they're taking them out first.
they are,
They want
dude,
the
in
pensioners
Michigan.
out.
Yeah, so in Michigan, we were taking COVID positive senior citizens and putting them in senior citizen homes when there was max capacity, and senior citizen homes of people who weren't COVID.
Clear them out. Just clear them out.
Like, yeah, like why not just drop a bomb in the middle of a senior citizen home?
What's worse to old people than a deathly illness or the cold?
A combination of the two called COVID.
Go
And like,
on.
yeah, dude, and yeah, and it's like it
They can
pisses me off
sense
so
when the
much,
thermostat goes down by 1.
right? And
I
they're like,
felt
it's
my bones chill. And they fucking
dude, that's true, dude. When because I have all this metal in my body, right? I swear to God, like between 3 and 9 hours before like there's a huge cold front or a warm front. It's not like that's basically what pushes all the weather, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, there's rain or there's yeah, rain basically. It's coming because of either a cold front or a warm front. And so I can fucking feel that shit, dude. All of a sudden it just gets really achy. My whole right arm, because like another thing, I broke my hand right here.
How many things have you broken?
All right, so I broke my hand when I was younger by punching a kid in the face because
Wow.
he was picking on my brother.
Okay, good man.
And I came in
It's all about
too hard. Yeah, it's all about the family. And I came in too hard when I swung and I caught or like I came in too much of a hook and I caught like the outside of my hand and I got what was called a boxer's fracture. Yep.
Yeah. You only
Knocked
get
out.
that one of two ways, punching a wall or punching a skull.
Yep. And then other than that, it was the elbow and the shoulder. And that's it. All on my right arm. I'm left-handed, which is the weirdest fucking thing of all of this. It's like I've just been babying this hand.
All I could think of when you said you could feel the weather is me mounting you on the front of a ship and just having you steer me when a storm comes.
There's a storm a coming.
A storm's a brewing. You're like, oh shit, thank you,
I
metal
can
man.
feel it in me bones there,
You could probably
laddie.
maybe that's how they got to pick weather people instead of getting all the people that always get it incorrect. Just have a dude that could sense it through the metal in his body.
He's just beep, beep,
Do,
beep, beep.
do you have an over like exaggeration of how powerful you think you are now? Like, do you ever feel like since you're like some metal in you, you could take more of a hit or dish one out?
And you just hear this.
If I had a metal hand, I would be hitting people.
I don't have
of
any
times.
metal in my hand though.
Well, I mean, you have a metal
yeah,
shoulder. If you like, you could shoulder someone in football, probably break
I'm
a
gonna
rib.
lose that metal though. I'm getting that taken out.
Wait, they have to take it out?
Yeah.
So it's going to heal on its own to back to original?
Yeah, because there was no bones broken. They just needed the bracket basically was just there to hold the two bones together so the ligament healed properly. The surgery was a little bit more optional. They're like, well, you can let it sit. They're like, but it's gonna look like you have a goddamn coat hanger sticking out of your neck. Oh, kept it sticking up like this?
When Halloween comes around again, you could be the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Just start walking.
All right. Okay. Another photo on my phone.
I don't want to see any more of your horrible injury.
Of my terrible injuries.
You showed me the surgery. Yeah. I'm gonna jump through the Zoom call. I'm gonna throw up.
No, it's just a photo of like my shoulder of what it looked like.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, that's
my buddy. He does videos like for surgical stuff. His name's Squatch Ronson. He's been on here a couple of times, but he does like the surgery videos, like where they video it up and show people before the surgery,
for like schools and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he sends me these Snapchats of his video stuff. I won't open them anymore. I've never cringed at something so bad. They had one where they were going behind a woman's eye and you saw everything. Like they had her all open up past her eyebrow and they were going in there and he goes, here, I got another one to send you. This one's in this dude's, it's like cutting it open up his stomach. You're literally watching like the raw shit, the shit they don't show you on TV going in there. I'm like, I can't do it. I don't want, if it ever comes to surgery to save my life, I'd rather just fucking die.
Isn't it weird that we just attach ourselves to someone else having that surgery when we're not even the victim? That you see that and it's like, oh, I feel that. I see that. I feel it.
I don't give a shit about the person. I give a shit about what I'm seeing. I don't want to see someone's liver.
Because then because you're like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like it's a weird, like, I feel like it's like an existentialism thing.
I wonder if you could, like, when you open up someone and you check their liver or you see their liver, could you count the rings and tell how many, like, how much they've abused it? Well, there's 40 years of alcoholism.
Oh, God, my liver probably still fucking hates me.
It regenerates every 6 months.
Is it? Yeah, because my 20s, I was not good to my liver, not at all.
I remember because I don't have like the best liver. It's just naturally just like sometimes like if you look at some of these podcasts, I'll like my skin will be a little bit yellow, and that's because my liver's like not doing so well at that moment. My cousin always points out, he goes, "Your hands are yellow." Because usually my hands will be like yellow. It's not fucking lighting, it's because of the liver thing. I remember I was researching about it. So your liver regenerates like every 6 or 7 months. So if you give it enough time, like you stop drinking, it'll heal. But the issue is when it scars or starts to get cirrhosis, it'll never heal back to normal. It'll only heal to the point that it has that scarring and it has that cirrhosis. That's why they want you to stop it before something like that occurs. Because then once it's there, it's like if you lost a toe, you're never going to
Yeah.
regenerate your toe back.
Yeah, that's wild. You know what though? You know what? Hmm. So I know that when a woman is pregnant,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
her body, Jesus Christ, what? It's just science.
How am I going to know? I didn't even know you had a kid.
Well, no, this has nothing to do with my wife. I'm just saying
Okay.
in general, when a woman is pregnant, uh, the body when they get their the fetal tissue, like the fetal cells, and stuff like that, they will send those cells to fucking like organs and stuff like that if they're damaged of the
Yeah,
mother.
I know that. I also
Yeah,
know that people get weird pregnancy dreams too.
yeah.
Like if you
Oh, I
ask your
bet.
wife about like a pregnancy dream, she'll tell you like a really intimate one. I've heard stories of like people that like they met their kid as like an adult. Like exactly like I've talked to my mom,
Wow.
or she was like, "You came to me in a dream one time, and it was exactly who I'm staring at right now. This version of you, your 20-year-old self. Like exactly, I knew exactly what you were going to turn out to be. I knew all this type of stuff." And I was like, "What?" And like, yeah, they'll have like really crazy, like ayahuasca style dreams and shit like that. But I don't know. I have weird dreams too, but nothing is that. I'm not growing a fetus inside of me that I know of.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. What about if you get surgery, for instance, on like a organ transplant? Like for
Do
a
you feel any of the like,
no,
you know what?
for a new heart, your body, your whole entire life with that new heart will try and reject it the whole entire time because your body tries to reject the foreign object. The genetic code of your tissue doesn't match the new heart tissue, so it'll try its whole life to try and reject it out.
So you have to like take medicine to like combat that?
Yes, exactly.
That's insane.
That's fucking nuts that your genetic coding is that. That's what I'm so fascinated by. And I always thought we came from apes. Like I thought we came from monkeys because monkeys throw shit. And I was listening to a documentary about Alzheimer's. And it was funny because they always talk about like the main thing at Alzheimer's is when they start to know it's like completely gone, like they've reverberated back to like a primal state, they start throwing shit as like a
Yeah.
defense mechanism, like a child throws shit. And I'm like, no fucking way. And I was like, is that so? Do we come from apes? And people say that's bullshit. But I'm like, all right, then where do we come from?
Exactly. I don't know. Maybe a chimpanzee just ate some mushrooms one day. What's up, Joe Rogan? Like, you
I don't know
don't
about
want to
that
talk?
one.
You want to talk about chimpanzee? Oh, you never heard that? The stoned ape theory?
I've heard the stoned ape theory, but I'm not too
Yeah.
familiar on it.
Oh, I that's all I really know. That like they think that a monkey ate some sort of psilocybin and then just kept eating it and then made other monkeys eat it and then eventually it
See, you'll say that, and then some flat earther will be like, "That sounds ridiculous." I'm like, "Motherfucker, are we playing games here? I don't understand. We keep it all open to interpretation. That has some weight to it. If like the best one I've ever heard is that we come from Mars, not like a spaceship dropped a bunch of people off, but more like all these comets that are flying through the air and stuff like that hit Mars. A little bit of dust particles floated off, landed in Earth's atmosphere, and after generations upon thousands of years, whatever, we evolved from those particles like spore, and then became these humans that we are today."
ooh, like the what are they called? It's these little tiny worms and they're called like a bear worm. You ever hear about those?
Bear worm.
Oh man, I'm gonna
I
look it
can
up
see
real
you're
quick.
fucking Googling now. Your fucking eyes lit up because that screen turned on.
It's this worm. Yeah, the bear worm. Tardigrades or tardigrades. They're called water bears or moss piglets, and they're a phylum of an eight-legged segmented microanimal. So it's this little tiny microscopic animal, but what makes it such a such a weird thing is they can literally survive any amounts of radiation. They can survive sub-zero temperatures. They can survive ridiculous amounts of heat. They're basically indestructible.
When do we start to cross ourselves with animals? Not like if animal fucking, but like being able to pull the genetics from an animal and add it into ours. Like, because I think I had a conspiracy episode with my buddy who's a bit of a conspiracy guy, and we were talking about like CRISPR, for instance.
I was just, you know what, you fucking read my mind. I
So
was just literally gonna bring that up when you said when do we cross that stuff. I was gonna say CRISPR.
I was saying with CRISPR, for instance, what happens if they tell you that your kid has a terrible disease, that your kid is not going to be able to have a functional life? He's going to have a severe disability to them, and we can go in there and fix it if you let us. And the parent being a parent, imagine if someone told you that about your kid. You're going to be like, fucking fix it. I want my kid to have a shot, you know?
Yeah,
And they go in, and then when they do it, they go, okay, we fixed it. And they just made your kid sterile. And then sooner or later, all these generations of kids that are now sterile, and now you have to make a certain amount of money to be able to be given the gene to have kids. So
the
once you
trends.
make a certain amount of achievement, you can now have children. That's fucking scary.
Yeah, that's like horse breeders, man.
Because why would you keep breeding a bunch of people that just fight on Twitter and not have like any accomplishments in their life? You only want to breed successful people. But then my other theory was when I was talking to a guy, I was like, everything's about tax. Everything's about money. It's like with crypto. They finally found a way to now start taxing crypto. So the crypto game's going to change a little bit. So it's going to go to a new platform. I go, but then how do you explain artists? Well, I think they go, look, this person somehow beat the system. So what we got to do is we got to make them advance more than everyone, make them the exception of the rules. So people don't get the idea that they can always just beat our system. And I was like, fuck, that makes sense too. I get in these conspiracy rabbit holes where I'm like, damn it, I'm not saying any of these are true, but just entertain the idea. Think for a minute. We live in a world that's not the honest of worlds.
That's true. Yeah, no, it's always I think it's always important to like question everything. And I always try to but like or I always try to like look at things from like every angle, but I think ultimately it's like we're instinctual animals. Like just we think we're above everything else because we made some cool shiny toys and things like that, but we're still doing this all based on a genetic code that's the same as it was for the last millions of years. Like, do you know what I mean? Like so like communicating, like the reason why everyone's freaking out and attacking each other and stuff on Facebook is we're using the same code of communicating that we've evolved over millions and millions of years and doing it in a completely different way that's taken a span of 10 years. Where we adapt fast and we're getting it, but like the raw emotion, you see it in responses. It's the raw emotion, like the impulsivity of just saying things and the way people just believe things, which is still like hilarious to me after we've had the internet for 20 some years that people just believe anything they see on the internet.
Well,
But
I mean, they even have those things, people affecting genetic code, like using CRISPR to affect genetic code. Does that affect the human race as a species? If you're starting, like, does everything have a balance to it? I know it's supposed to be beneficial when it comes to possibly fixing something that could ruin a person's life, but like, for instance, Michael Jackson, he was believed to be chemically castrated. That's why he kept his voice so high. And if you look at his like photos of him, he didn't really have a lot of muscle definition to him, like
or
basically
facial
none.
hair or anything.
Yeah, so his dad, the theory was that they chemically castrated him. They chopped his balls off when he was a kid, or did something
Like
that messed.
chemically, yeah.
Yeah, did something that messed with him chemically to not be, and that's known to happen throughout history. People chemically castrating other people. It's the same. And I look at that like, damn, like, is that still being like Michael Jackson's a successful person? If you talk about
Damn.
that, are you
I
basing it on what
mean,
he has, or is that was
yeah,
somebody
material
made him
value.
successful?
Yeah, because if I remember one of the saddest things I ever saw with Michael Jackson was there was someone there, some news reporter was with him on Neverland Ranch, and Michael Jackson was just like walking around with him and showing him his place. And then there was a tree, and Michael Jackson just decided to climb the tree. And he's like, "Oh yeah, a tree," you know, Michael Jackson, "Yeah, yeah, a tree." And he climbs up in this tree or whatever, and he's like, "Come climb the tree" or whatever. And this other guy who was like the same age as him was just an adult, and he's like, "No, I'm not gonna climb the tree." And then like the camera panned and like zoomed in on Michael Jackson just looking sad. And I was like, "Holy fuck, that's a fucking like
Child.
yeah, like that's a broken person."
Well,
Like
people, he
and
never
not
had
even
the
in a negative
opportunity.
connotation to it. Yeah, it's just it slips through the cracks, man. There's too many people slipping through the cracks.
It's kind of like Mike Tyson, for instance. He's an amazing fighter. but that was because of his life was shit. His life was hard. At 13, he was like 6'5", like 190 something pounds. Like, holy shit, you can't be 16 years old. Like they had, I think when he was at such a young age, he tried to get into a fight. I think at the age of like 13, he tried to get into a fight and they thought he was way bigger. So they lied about his age and actually made him older because they wouldn't believe that he was 13 years old because of just
Yeah.
his height. I'm like, some of this is like you're genetically gifted to be this amazing thing. But then a lot of times, like, is it genetics or is it someone forcing you to do something? Like some people's parents are complete fucking try hard assholes. And the next thing you know, this kid develops in this way. You realize he never had a childhood. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's dad. He never gave him the opportunity to be a kid. He wanted him to be famous because the rest of his family was like in this popular thing. And Michael Jackson happened to take off past all the others. But maybe he
Yeah.
didn't want that. He never had a chance to be a child. So when you see a grown man climbing in a tree, you understand.
Yeah. Yeah, as I was saying, there's too many people that just slip through the cracks. We all get so wrapped up in our own little bubble that we
The
don't
only
think about.
person I think that did it correctly was the Gracies. He's had like a whole fucking family that started like this Brazilian jiu-jitsu thing. And his dad was like, if they want to do it, I'm not going to push them. If they fail, I give them a pat on the back anyway. I'm like, you fucking did it right, man. I don't know how everyone
Yeah.
should model off of that.
Macaulay Culkin made a good little turnaround.
His brother got fucked.
Oh, his brother. Oh, by his
His
parents?
his brother was in Signs, and nobody even remembers his brother because right after he makes Signs, this amazing fucking movie gets to start with Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix. He goes, "Mom, I'm in Signs." What? We don't give a fuck. Your brother's in Home Alone. It's like
Yeah.
fucking tossed right out the window.
Damn, I didn't even know. Is he in Science? Was he the kid?
Yeah, I was watching it and I was like, that guy looks exactly like Macaulay Culkin. His last name's McCulkin. He's related. He's the older brother. And I was like, imagine that. Your younger brother is now casting the shadow upon you.
Damn, I didn't know that.
That's got to be a mind fuck where you end up sticking a gun in your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that
I
will
mean,
get to you for sure.
who are some good people that aren't really around anymore? Like Paul Giamatti was a fucking amazing actor, and then like you never hear about him anymore. He's like doing Showtime or something like that, which I consider if you're on Showtime, you're practically dead.
Didn't wait, I'm trying to remember what Paul Giamatti looks like.
He played in Fred Claus with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, he did John Adams on HBO, right?
See, if you start talking about that, you start talking about these off-platform streaming services. I don't like it.
But it's about John Adams though. That's a good it's a good little
The beer guy?
No, that's Sam Adams, his cousin. John Adams was one of the founding.
Sorry, I can't keep track of all the Adams. Sandler?
Yeah.
Sandler?
Well, Sam Adams was a founding father too, but so was John Adams. But yeah, those boys helped create what we got here today, this shit show of everyone infighting.
As bad as we could talk about it, it's still only a couple 100 years old, so you have to give it a little bit of credit that it's at least toe to toe with some places that have been around for thousands of years.
And let's be honest, it's still fucking better than a lot of other places.
Maybe if they just like slowly just like gave everyone like a mental health check, and then if you were like mentally unstable, we just tossed you out. Like being a cop, there needs to be a better mental health check to be a cop.
Yeah. My city does pretty good with their police person. Like locally, we just hired a social worker to work with the police for issues like mental health issues and stuff. And if only that would happen all over the country. But yeah, no, mental health, it's an issue, man. It's stigmatized in our country. Like everyone's just like we were just saying, like when they're off, they're kind of just like brushed to the side.
That's not what it is.
Where it's like,
I'll tell you what it is. It's a bunch of people.
Money in it.
No, dude, the government spends billions of dollars to the mental health thing. But the issue is they're not watching where the fucking money goes. And then it goes into, we're going to give it to Blasio and he loses $850 million, doesn't know where it went. And I'm like, that's the fucking issue is like, we need to get better people that are suitable to when money doesn't go in their hand. They don't go, I'm going to buy a Lexus. Like, fuck you.
Like that 6.4 trillion to the Pentagon. When they asked for the receipts and the Pentagon just basically patted their pockets and was like, I don't know.
We don't do any receipts. We went paperless.
What do you mean receipts?
If I have to carry a receipt when I'm walking out of Walmart, then you should have to carry a receipt when you're in charge of $6.4 billion.
Trillion.
Jesus. It's even worse when you look at that.
Years.
That 0.1 is 100 billion.
Yeah. Do you ever drink these Trulies?
No, it's a
This isn't
seltzer.
a promotion.
Who drink?
I know.
I just bought chocolate peanut butter IPAs, and I'm really, but it was my buddy's birthday, so I can't
Is that
open
what you're
them.
drinking right now?
Now I'm drinking a Diet Dr. Thunder.
Oh, okay. That's like a Mountain Dew, right?
It's
Oh
an
no, if it's a
off-brand.
doctor, it's a Dr. Pepper.
It's a Dr. Thunder. That's right. A fucking generic store brand. Fucking,
I'll tell you what, if I had to choose between seeing
it's
Dr.
good.
Thunder or Dr. Pepper, I would definitely see Dr. Thunder.
See, the only difference between like the generic like diets, they don't have enough carbonation. So it's like if you drink one of these, it's like drinking half of like a regular soda. You can drink it so fast. I think the like regular main soda brands, they have so much carbonation in it, they give you a slow pause to it. But I don't like seltzers. But that chocolate peanut butter thing, I told him, I was like, dude, because I'm going to his house to go drop him off his birthday gifts and all that type of stuff. And that's one of them. I'm going to take a sip of it. But dude, I'm like looking at these IPA flavors and I'm like, Jesus Christ, no wonder people are alcoholics. Like fucking
Yeah.
oatmeal cream pie was a beer flavor. I'm like, what? And then there's like all this
Was it a
fucking,
stout?
I don't know what it was. I'm just looking
It
at all
sounds like
these
a stout. It
pictures on
sounds
these
so good.
things. A coffee cream. I'm like, dude, like no wonder people have like drinking problem in this country.
No wonder why people's hands are yellow and their livers are all fucked up.
Mine's because it's just failing for some reason. I don't even drink. I just got fucked when I was born.
You still fucking around with that that screwball?
Nah, I stopped doing it because I don't know, man. They were like, I was getting real into it. Like it was fun to do when you're off work and stuff like that. But I stopped drinking. I was like, I'm just not about it. It's too much money to go and spend 40 something dollars and all that. I was like, I'd rather just do something else, like make t-shirts.
Yeah, I only I'm kind of the same way. I kind of cut down a little bit now that I got a little one running around. I typically drink on special occasions and on the weekends. In my 20s,
And every day that ends in Y.
and every day that ends in wine. There's that song. It's what it talks about just being drunk on a Tuesday. I'm drunk on Tuesday.
I found that I've been liking working out twice a day more than like on my days off, I'll work out twice.
Interesting.
I've been doing a new form of like, because I'm on this journey in life, much like everyone is, except I'm not smoking crack or doing anything different. I'm just kind of like contemplating life as in where do I want to go? Do I want to just end up joining porn like I think I know I'm going to do?
So you're at your quarter life crisis.
Pretty sure I'm at like my midlife crisis because my beard is starting to go gray.
Wait, how old are you again?
23.
23. God damn it. Jesus Christ. You're making me feel old.
When I go to the
Listeners.
hairdresser, she's like, your hair is going gray. I'm like, and nobody in my family got gray hair until they're in their 70s. So I'm like, what is happening? She's like, you might be stressed. Then my doctor's like, you're stressed. And I'm like, then how the fuck do I find it? Because I don't have a metal detector to be able to check if I'm stressed.
Do you have a stressometer? Is this just
They
subjective?
don't tell you that. They just tell you, well, all your organs seem to be fighting something. I'm like, well, what is it fighting? And they're like, I think it's your stress is messing up the balance in your body. And I'm like, you telling me I'm stressed is making me even more stressed. And she goes, what are you stressed about? I'm like, I don't know. There's a voice in my head every time someone asks me, hey, can you help? Can you help me move? And then there's a voice in my head that just goes, I don't want to fucking do that. It's just that voice 24/7. It's just like, I don't want to fucking do that.
Yeah. You're getting stressed because you're thinking you're stressed. Sounds like you need to smoke a J. Or you know what you should do?
That would make me even more stressed.
You should go and find that Bigfoot shaman.
The one I had on?
Remember when we were talking about how we think that that Bigfoot was a shaman, interdimensional being.
He's a spiritual. He is
a spiritual guide.
He is a spiritual guide. But I don't like getting high because I always get the call of the void, which is the French labeled it as a term. I thought I was just like super depressed. But like apparently you ever get to a really tall building and then look off the end of it and wonder what happens if you fell?
Yeah.
Okay, I get that all the time when I'm high.
The call of the void.
That's called call of the void. The French made a term for it. It's a rare phenomenon. Okay. When you get to a very tall building or a tall height, you wonder what happens if you fell.
That you think it's a missed opportunity if you don't do it.
No, that's suicide.
No, I don't mean it like that, but it's like, well, what if, like, yeah, exactly. It's not because you want to die. It's like you look over and it's like, oh,
it's more like, what if I fell from here? What would happen?
Yeah. The what ifs. Yeah.
Yeah. Not like what if it's a missed opportunity? Now that's, you need to call a doctor at that point.
It came out really, really bad. So, like,
Yeah.
that's not
It,
what I meant at
it
all.
came out like I was gonna have to put a disclaimer of
Look
the
at me.
suicide awareness number on.
No, it's just like it's like what if, and like and it pesters you like, well, what if I didn't do, like, what if I did do that, what if I,
What if I didn't take that half pipe snowboard trip? What if I did?
yeah, like,
What would happen? Would
what
my
if I
arm be
didn't do
okay?
that? Yeah, like it's like uh just a real short story. Like one time we were kayaking or whatever, and there was one spot that was like way more turbulent than the way everyone else was going. And I was sitting there for a second, and it's like, oh man, if I don't risk tipping and going that way, I'll regret it, And then so then you
Your
go for the
fucking
crazy
face
spot.
on that kayak. You're doing the perfect motions of the small
Yeah,
little circles. You're
yeah, I was backpedaling. You like that?
I just pictured a dog like when it's swimming in the water, just patting its arms.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, it's gonna bother me for the rest of my life if I don't go that way.
Do you
So I
ever
guess I guess jumping off a building is really extreme, but it's like the fear of missing out.
It's kind of like the people that skydive or the people that do like the flight suits where they jump off a really tall building and then like base jump and then fly like through the air like a squirrel, like a flying squirrel.
Yeah,
There are so many stories of people accidentally just hitting the tip of a tree and breaking their whole foot, or their foot gets ripped off because the fastest speed that they're going is
just
so
terminal velocity.
and it doesn't even need to be like they hit the whole fucking tree. They just hit their foot and the foot just snaps and breaks. I'm like, why would you? I get it, the danger, the adrenaline rush, but I'm like, you got to check your pressure on your heart. At that point, you're going to be having heart attacks at like the age of like 30.
I get it. I mean, I get the idea. It's called like the edge. Hunter S. Thompson, he explains it really well when he talks about like the edge. Like when you hit that, there's a weird point you hit to where like your mind is just at a complete clarity. And it's the flow state, nothing else matters. Not your job, no one around you, your environment. You're completely in this tune thing where all of those different emotions, everything is stripped away, and you're in this little tunnel of complete, like, if you're doing something you enjoy, it's like a little tunnel of like complete peace. Like surfers talk about it. People who do MMA and things like that, boxing and training, you probably have felt it before in exercising and stuff. You're completely in tune into what you're doing, and just everything around you melts away, and it's just you, not your body, but just you in this specific moment, and time melts away and everything else melts away.
That's how I
like I,
felt last Saturday when I was doing a 4 hour elliptical session.
yeah, so exactly, so you understand what I'm saying. So like people achieve, and it's like it releases your dopamines and your epinephrine and all that type of stuff, and you just hit this point where it's just like you're at complete, like people do with meditation. Me myself was bombing hills on a snowboard before I busted up my shoulder, or on a longboard going really really fast like when you're going fast on a longboard,
That
or when you're
speed
hitting
wobble.
on. I have a pintail actually. I tighten down those trucks like a motherfucker, and I have these super hard bushings so I don't get those speed wobbles with like 72 millimeter trucks, so they're
That
like this
speed
wide.
wobble's a fucking leveler in life of like, I don't think I can, I think I bit off more than I can chew.
Yeah, I built my board, one of my boards specifically for to avoid the speed wobble. And my record is 47 miles an hour.
Damn.
That's a guess though, because the app I had on my phone was like a speedometer app, and it said 49 miles. And my wife was in the car in the lane next to me driving at 47, and I was pulling away from her. So without us actually knowing, it was somewhere between 47 and 49. So I just say 47 because that's what the car said.
I remember when I was a kid and they used this cop, he's like a friendly neighborhood cop, like Spider-Man, but in a police uniform. He was he would
Did you grow up in the suburbs or in the city?
I don't even I mean I've been here in Ocean City for a while. It's not really a
Is it?
city though. It's like a
It's
very
like
small.
suburbs.
It's like
It's
a
like
tourist.
suburbs basically.
It's like a tourist spot. But
Okay,
I lived in
that
like
makes
this
sense.
small
Yeah,
little community in like the hills,
yeah,
kind of, I'd say.
yep.
And we
Because
what
cops in suburbs and small towns like that, they serve and protect, and then cops in the inner cities, they just enforce. It's
some of the
like,
cops down here really enforce. Like they fucking
yeah,
I've had a
they're
gun pulled out
pricks.
on me before.
Mm.
So I'm like, that's what when people say like it's only this type of race. I'm like, look, I've had a fucking gun pointed at my head all because I had to take a shit and I was trying to get to my house.
And
Like, oh,
I think that personally that like the ratios, I get it. I get why races will say, yeah, we're definitely targeted because the ratios of them being targeted compared to us is way off and it makes sense. But yeah, I think that it only proves the point that their argument is more strong that like, yeah, it happens to everybody. To where it's like, maybe instead of just blaming the races, that we should all be like, hey, these fucking cops suck. We should all be pissed off about it.
yeah, I mean,
This
every
isn't
place that
China. This isn't Russia. We're supposed to be the land of the free.
see out at my gym, there's a lot of cops that go there, and there's a cop. I hope he doesn't hear this. But someone told me he was like, yeah, he got transferred from Baltimore for what he did, and I was like, what did he do? And apparently he was chasing after someone, like speeding after somebody, and he hit him like in the back. You know, they do that maneuver that hits him in the back tire and it spins the car out in front of them or whatever.
Right.
He did that, and some dude was on a motorcycle off to the side that was just parked, not going anywhere, and hit that person, completely paralyzed him. And so he's got to live with that. He's like a little bit older than I am, like 26, 27. So he has to live with that. It's happened like 3 years ago. So he's been living with that in his fucking head.
Yeah.
And
See,
he's
but
like,
I don't blame him.
I
He was
don't,
trained
but
to do
people
that.
did.
He was trained to do that.
Yeah, but he didn't even know that guy was standing there. But like, I look at that, like people look at that, like there's another cop that did another thing. And I'm like, that's not the fucking, there's some bad people that we know that shouldn't be put in this position. That's why there was a thing called truth wizards back in the day that would tell, like they were appointed as judges and cops because they could tell the truth. When you're talking with someone, you know, if someone's feeding you a fib or something like that, you can tell. More people were in tune with that back in the day. Now we just kind of accept everything because it's all through social media. It's hard to tell if somebody's bullshitting or not.
Yeah, it's hard to pick up on the small micro like facial expressions and stuff on somebody whether or not they're lying. Like
I
if someone
put
all of
up
a sudden,
I put up a fucking tweet saying I'm like a stepping stone to connecting people. Everybody uses me and they go and connect with someone else. And I was like, I'm the best e-harmony there is. And then everyone liked it as a joke. And I was like, really, it is a joke, but it's also pain. It's like, fuck, every time I talk to someone on here, they're like, hey, can you hook me up with this person? I'm like, what am I, the fucking matchmaker? Like,
oh,
it's like,
everybody, yeah,
Jesus.
I was actually, I was gonna at the end of this, I was gonna be like, hey, by the way,
Were you
I'm
really?
gonna go. I was gonna go through your guest list and then like not I was gonna do the work myself. Obviously, I wasn't gonna be like,
I mean,
can you reach me
I,
out to this person?
I
I would
don't
look their name
mind.
up. I'd look their name up and be like, hey, you were on, Rob, out of the blank. I've been on out of the blank. I have this podcast. If you want to come on, it'd be cool. I wouldn't be like, hey,
How come I haven't made an appearance?
well, because four guys at once since I broke my shoulder is taking
I know.
definitely a sabbatical.
It hasn't been updated since like fucking like
Uh,
September.
Oh, I know. No, yeah, February. And well, so in between all of that, my cousin Mike, he's got a new job that conflicts with the schedule of us recording. Plus, he's pursuing doing more of his own artistic thing.
Ooh, congratulations, Mike.
Yeah, he's doing good. He was the one that freestyled and all that stuff, and he was rapping and stuff like that. So he's like trying to focus more on that. Bert now works at a completely different schedule, and he's just starting doing this masonry stuff. He used to do bricklaying when he was a kid, but now he's diving into that. And Belle's like another family dad like me. And me and Belle are gonna actually probably work on a little project that once we get more laid in stone, I'll be able to tell you about. And then I'm doing actually it's a good segue. I am
Called
starting
CB Radio.
yeah, CB radio. There we go. No, is oh, I can't. I'll tell you after this.
What?
I'll tell you once we're done recording about mine and his idea. But I have one. I have another. But what me and another guy, who we become pretty good friends. He went to Specs Howard School of Broadcast Arts like I did, and so me and him are working on a podcast together. We have like 4 or 5 episodes recording. We're going to be launching soon. It's called Libservative, and it's like a combination of like left and right media and politics, and like we're like people like me, like essentially like me and you, like kind of just in the middle.
Someone
Like
called me a
don't identify.
libertarian at one point.
That's not an insult. That I would personally consider that a
I
compliment.
don't like to define myself into groups because it limits my expectations.
Right. And then I like that. And then so
Saltines for everybody. That's all I want.
saltines for everyone. So it's called Libservative. It's a combination of the word liberal and conservative put together, and it's just me and my buddy. We're basically moderates, just trying to navigate through this whole political, crazy social media like
Mess.
social like mainframe and trying to make sense of it, because a majority of us aren't the crazy lefts and the crazy rights. People get like when you have you know, tweets of 240 characters in 3-minute segments on the news, it's real easy to paint everybody as either a leftist or a rightist, and then they're either everyone's immediately on one side or the other. But there's a bunch of us just in the middle that's just like, this is fucking stupid. And so that's basically kind of what we're the audience that we're going to be going for is like just the moderates who think like basically like, yeah, no, that makes sense on the left and that makes sense on the right, but I don't attribute myself to the left or the right. And we got, yeah, like I said, we got like 4 or 5 episodes recorded. We're gonna be dropping our first season soon. We so far we've talked to so far this is who we've talked to so far for the first season. The first season is gonna be the we're trying to debunk the social media civil war. And that there isn't really like everyone, you know how there's all this talk of like, oh, we're tearing ourselves apart at the seams. It's social media civil, like it's a
No,
civil
I
war.
post and ghost, man. I know social
Posting
media
ghost.
is a horrible thing if you sit there and fester on it and you just search everybody's bullshit because then you're gonna want to comment on everybody's bullshit.
Yeah.
I know because that's me. As soon as I see a comment about something where I'm like, something in my brain just goes, just type it, you bitch. Just fucking send it. Just click the okay, tweet it so you can voice your opinion like a fucking man. And then I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it because that's going to lead to a Twitter war where I'll be battling a conversation on Twitter for the longest fucking time. I don't ever try and change people. I don't care what you do, but I'm going to state why I think this way. And then you can choose to, but everyone considers that an attack if you do that. I'm like, oh my God, I just want to eat a muffin and fucking relax.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've been reading a lot of these books about this kind of shit lately. Like there was one by this John Haidt. It's called Coddling of the American Mind.
Yeah,
Have you ever heard of that book?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
You should read that
I think
book.
Joe
That's a good
Rogan's
one.
mentioned it like multiple times.
Oh, has he? It's a good book. And then another one. Have you ever heard of Hate Inc?
Yep. You mentioned that one too.
Yep, that's another really good book. Those are the two that I read. And now I'm reading a book by a this one called Shit Show. It's by a local like investigative journalist from here named Charlie LaDuff. I don't know if you ever heard of him. But he it's a really good damn book.
You know what
He's
I
just
have in my bookshelf right here?
what's that?
Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the Percy Jackson series, a couple things from. So it was weird. So my the owner of my old gym, the one I had the key to, and she was basically like family to me. She was moving, and her husband's daughter had died.
Oh,
So
that
she
sucks.
gave me the key to their storage unit, and she's like, "Just grab anything you want." I know she has like a laptop in there. She has a bunch of stuff in there. Anything you want. So I open up this thing, and like it was whatever was left that they didn't grab and they just didn't want. I'm looking through, and there's like thousands upon thousands of like small literature books, like dark arts type shit. I'm like looking through. I'm like, this is fucking interesting stuff. It's gonna look cool if I bring like the whole bookcase and put it in my studio. And as I'm looking through it, there was a small author, like a small named author, and I was looking through these old books, and she was emailing or not emailing, she was writing letters to the actual author, and the author actually wrote a letter back and was like, "Thank you," and she had it like in a little like square portrait frame, and she had it framed and everything that they wrote back to her, and yeah, it was just interesting. So I got Spock books, I got Stephen King books, all these crazy ass books, and then there's my shitty thrift store collection on top. That's just Diary of a Wimpy Kid and a bunch of stuff. It's just interesting, man. I mean,
Have you actually read and looked into any of them and read them and stuff, or
not the major ones, but like it was interesting. Some of the books she did like super really read, like the ones you could tell didn't have as much dust on them before she got sick. There were like scribbles and stuff like circled in it, like certain keywords, like she was trying to uncode a message or something in there. And like in the one
interesting?
main portrait that I'm sorry, I was looking at the books.
Oh,
In the
that's fun.
main portrait that she had, like the letter that was sent to her, they said you you were one of the very few that was able to uncode my message with something that was written in there. And I was like, what the fuck was, and I didn't know at the time, but like you start looking at like more and more later, like a month later, I started figuring out that she was discovering these notes and hints that authors leave in their books sometimes that people end up figuring out like a meaning to something and then end up getting like a deeper, it helps you get better connected with your audience if you leave hidden messages and shit. I mean, through 800 something episodes, I probably left a bunch of stuff like my buddies listened to like everything past 400, so he's fucking knows me to a T. Like,
Right.
so there's like stuff I'll say, and he'll be like, "Yeah, because of this," and I'm like, "Oh fuck," like you listen to that episode. So, and it's all like it's interesting stuff. I think it brings a better perspective into who you are as a person too, especially if you're able to as a writer secretly write in messages that some fan out there, not even knowing that it's going to happen, will somehow uncode it all. Like fuck, like I probably,
Yeah,
if I
like,
ever get famous, it'll be in the future when I'm dead after driving my car into a tree, as some fucking person discovers like a bunch of these podcasts and all this. I don't know.
yeah, I think about stuff like that too, actually. Like, what if someone just 50 years down the road from now just finds this shit, just bullshit like this,
I
or
fucking
bullshit
hope
like Four Guys at Once,
Illuminati is real.
like just like Four Guys at Once Christmas episode. Like all of a sudden, that's just gonna be just the hit. Everyone's just gonna be watching it, and I'm just gonna be dead for 50 years.
Lizard people. That's all I want to say. And just have some kid in the future like, oh my God, he's right about it. Then what happens if your kids watch it? And then you're like, oh shit.
Ooh. Well, in the Christmas episode, my kid's in it. We did. I don't know if you look up. That's one of the last episodes we did with the Christmas special. We did it at my brother's house during a Christmas party. It was like a live episode. And we had like our little setup next to like a fire going, and we had live music, and I was giving out gifts and shit.
Who would have predicted the trend would have been ASMR, then right to fucking unpackaging videos, unboxing videos?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
what's the next
okay.
one?
Oh, is it? Those are. You're saying they're correlated? Like, it went
Well,
from
it went from
ASMR to
ASMR. No, actually, it went from popping zits or popping things like that to
yeah.
ASMR and then to unboxing videos. And then now what's the next trend going to be? Because it seems like the unboxing videos are dying out now. Now it's going to be, oh, it's reaction videos too now. And then what does the react? You ever see Bo Burnham's Inside on Netflix?
The new one?
Yeah,
No, I haven't.
it's so fucking good, dude.
Is it good? You're
It's
the
like
second person to tell me that. I've had one friend
I
who,
followed him since I was 12, so
yeah,
I'm a big fan where everyone's like, "You ever heard of Bo Burnham?" I'm like, "I fucking knew him before he was the fucking
he's
person
saying
he
like,
is
yeah,
today."
boys, all Boy Scouts. I'm not gonna say all Boy Scouts are gay, but they all know how to tie knots in like 52 different ways.
In
Like,
like
yeah,
50 different
yeah,
ways.
yeah. Like I remember that old school Bo Burnham. What Abraham Lincoln? You're telling? Yeah, dude, I remember that shit. That's a throwback. That's old school. We were young. So wait, damn, dude, you're
They call
10
me
years younger
Doug's
than
friend
me.
Skeeter whenever I meet her because I skeet her so hard. People call her Patty Man. That shit was funny as fuck when he started tossing out that. I
Fuck, man. I
remember
feel like I
writing
was
down
like
all the lyrics
18.
to that song and then singing it to my dad. And then I got to the Michael J. Fox. How do you trace a scatter plot? You give the pencil to Michael J. Fox. And my dad's like, that's fucking horrible. And I was like, I don't know what any of these words mean. And I thought they were just a song. And the next thing you know, you
Oh,
turn
that's
out,
funny.
you get older. You're like, oh my God, I said that to my dad.
And what are you listening? You were listening to him at like 8 years old, huh?
I was listening to him young as fuck, man.
That's
Back in
right.
the
I was.
day, I used to write down lyrics on a piece of paper back when you had the computer, you could put up the YouTube, the dial-up shit, and then you could get on the internet. And then I would hold my phone up to the recording of the YouTube video and record it that way on my phone. And then I would play it and I would write all lyrics down. I learned Johnny Be Good that way. I learned Self-Esteem by Offspring that way. I learned mm, Follow Me by Uncle Cracker, Sean Kingston, Beautiful Girls. Um, Damn, a lot of shameless plug-in for these people. But
Yeah,
I'm nostalgic. I'm living in my memory
classics.
right now.
Those are
It was
classics.
the time when I lived in a open, like I decided not to be in my room anymore. I decided that I wanted to live and change my room to the open balcony that we had so I could be like out in the bigger room. That's what I thought, but I didn't realize me playing Xbox and screaming curse words to a bunch of kids. People can hear it that are watching TV downstairs. Like, what the fuck? Like, watch your language. And it's like, sorry, I can't. Guy killed me in Halo. I had to get pissed.
Oh man, Halo 3.
I got every single achievement, brother.
Oh no shit.
I got the double Spartan
No
laser. I stayed
shit.
home from school one day and I was like, I'm gonna fucking get this achievement. And these kids decided, hey, we're all trying to get this achievement. Want to help? And so we did.
You just those are the good old days.
Back when people actually used to get along and play Halo like goddamn people.
Dude, got along, dude. The shit talking back then was primo. Like now you
There are
can't say
some
half
kids
the
that had
words.
social anxiety that couldn't say a fucking word in public, couldn't talk to people, can't even order a sandwich
Oh,
out of
but they
Wawa.
would make a grown man cry.
They would make you fucking bawl your eyes out when they start talking about your mom. You're like, this kid's got fire comebacks. And then some idiot playing like his music or something like that. I'm like, damn it, just shut it off.
now because I'm like 32 years old, that like when people try that shit, it's like I no, it's like, listen, you were born into this. Like I molded this scene. Like I was a part of the beginning. So when you try your bullshit, I know what you're doing. So now it's like you just like when someone's like trying to talk shit, you just get real close to the mic and just go balls, balls,
Yeah.
balls.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, that
And they get
happens so
so
much.
mad. They get so mad because they think they're so slick talking all this mad shit. And if you just peek out the mic to where no one else can hear what they're saying, they're like, "Shut up!"
I
Like,
think that was a big transitional time in my life when I decided that like I remember like I was because my parents worked two jobs. My brother was older than me, so he was always like out skating with his friends or out like driving around or doing something. And then I was always at home by myself. So I spent a lot of days at night because I was a kid. I couldn't drive anywhere, couldn't go anywhere. So I would just, play Xbox. And I got addicted to it to where I was like, it's a great way to connect with my friends if I couldn't ride my bike to their house or something. And
mhm,
yeah, I started to notice like I remember one time I got the Xbox taken away and I was like screaming and freaking out, like overreacting. And I started to realize, and I actually did a study on this in school about video games and violence, but also the fact of the connection to the video games. It becomes like a replacement family member. At some point, kids are developing a connection with it that's like so personal. It's not that you're just taking something away from them, it's that you're taking something that brings them joy and happiness. And that's even getting worse now with the depression rates. And I was like, damn, so I can understand it when people like get so like you get so mad at Xbox, you're screaming and trying to yell, talk shit or something. Some kid just keeps cutting you off. Because I remember I was playing recently on like Call of Duty, and I always just play
whoa, whoa,
single.
whoa, hold up, hold up. Which Call of Duty?
I play Black Ops 3, but I only play like if I'm
Okay,
gonna play multiplayer, I'm also only gonna do the old zombie map packs I bought. That's the only I'll only play the first one. I bought $30 worth of the map packs, but I only play the first one because I
okay.
by
You don't
myself.
fuck around with Warzone. Oh, okay.
I'm
I was
so
gonna say,
vanilla when it comes to video games. I have Game Pass, but that's because it's $1 free, basically,
yeah.
with the gold thing. So I don't really play video games. I watch TV. I do too many fucking podcasts.
This is your video games. This is your hobby.
This is just
Mm,
me picking people's brains and also being selfish by gathering information and stories through experiences of yours.
yeah, you at this point you have hundreds of years of experience in your podcast.
The low grade Joe Rogan.
Nah, it's the what did I call it the last time? It was the
I'm the generic Tom Holland.
you're a part of that mold that
I'm like the guy that's not ever going to be famous, but he's above average.
that's right. I get yeah, I can see I saw I remember seeing you posting the things, do I look like Tom Holland or whatever else, and I'm like, yeah, he does. Uh I would get what's his name? Who's the fucking guy from Hangover?
Zach Galifianakis.
Ah, damn. That was like a knife in the side. No, not him.
I don't know who you're asking me to name a name, but I don't know what you're relating it to.
Who's the one guy with
Oh,
that
you mean who you look like?
yeah, that's what people say.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know you said
I
that.
was I was going after your Tom Holland thing.
Oh, I didn't. You didn't give me that much information. I was
And
trying
I'm
to figure out
sorry.
what you're just naming off a person I should get for the podcast. Like Zach Galifianakis.
Name one person out of 7.8 billion people that I look like. No. I'm just
um,
kidding. No, there was oh fuck, what was his name? The guy. So
was he in the
there was
first, second, or third?
they were in all four. It was one of the main four guys. Bradley Cooper.
You look
I've been
like
told.
Bradley Cooper.
I don't think I do.
In what realm do you look like
I
Bradley
don't
Cooper?
fucking know.
I don't think Bradley Cooper. I
Not in
think
this angle,
I've
but wait.
seen someone that looks like you before. He's a United Kingdom actor.
Interesting.
I'll have to send it when I find it.
Okay.
You are actor material.
You think I'm acting material?
I think
If I
so.
go like this, like
You definitely have like a subtle like I don't know. You're not bad looking. You're not like
it's the beard.
yeah. The beard's glorious.
You like this beard? Why don't you grow a beard?
I'm
Oh, because the
trying.
gray hairs.
Have you
Oh,
noticed? Just not. My dad's like, it didn't happen until I was 26. I was like, that's my goal to reach to when I finally die and move on to the next realm.
yeah. I'll have to send you a picture of Corey before he could grow a beard. Past Corey, little baby Corey. I'll send you 23-year-old Corey. How about that?
How old are you now?
I'm 32.
Holy shit, man. Where our ages are reversed.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. That's why I said you were really, really young when you knew Bo Burnham, because I remember hearing about him at like 18. So I was doing the math. And I'm like, damn, this kid was like 9 years old rapping Bo Burnham to his
Yeah.
dad. I
Fuck.
remember being 18, showing my dad Bo Burnham, and him just going, "That's not funny."
I didn't know any of the stuff he was talking about until I got older. And even sometimes now I listen to songs, I'm like, oh my God, that's what that means. Because like my whole family's music. So it doesn't matter if it's in a song, you can say it. It doesn't, that was the thing. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay, yeah, you're
And
fine.
I never listened to rap. So when I'm listening to like Sean Kingston, Beautiful Girls, and he's like suicidal or something like that, I never knew what that meant until I got a little bit older. And then I remember being in the car singing Fuck You by CeeLo Green. And like my dad didn't give a shit. I was 12 years old. You know, he's a DJ, so he plays that shit 24/7. You know, it's a song to him. It doesn't, it's not what you
Yeah, to
actually
him, he's
feel.
like, "How can I tell you to not say this when I'm playing this all the time?"
And I grew up, my dad was the drummer for Kiss. So I mean, that was
No shit?
he had a Kiss tribute band. I could send you pictures,
Okay,
but like, I mean,
that's fucking cool.
he actually was in a commercial with actual Kiss. They did the drummer didn't want Peter Chris. They had, I think, a replacement for him, but he didn't want to get up on the back of the drums. And you can actually YouTube this commercial. It's a Swedish lottery commercial, and it's like a guy getting out of his car, pulling up to a gas station, blasting Kiss, and he gets back in the car, and the music stopped. And he goes, Gene, why has the music stopped? And then Gene Simmons and the whole band's in the back, like, because you went inside, man. And then next thing you know, as they're pulling off from the gas station, it's my dad. That's him on the back of the drums playing as they're pulling
No
off.
shit, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, he met him. And then that's how I grew up. I mean, I used to go to his concerts. Rock Bottom played in front of like 50,000 people and stuff like that. Like, big thing.
Crazy story. My dad used to be in a band with one of the guys from the Eagles
Damn.
called the Golden. They were called like the Golden Mushrooms or something. It was like something mushrooms or golden or something like that. But my dad like he was only in it for like a brief stint because he wasn't in it to get serious. Because he just wanted to meet chicks, and then Glenn Fry moved out to Cali to start the Eagles. And my dad's like, "Yeah, he tried to get us all to go, but none of us wanted to go."
I feel like then you look at your parents and you're just like, fuck, what am I doing
Yeah,
with my
no,
life?
yeah, and then yeah. Well, I mean, we're in a different medium. We're probably like, let's be honest, more people have probably seen your face than your dad. More people have probably seen my face at this point than my dad on different mediums of media.
I think that
So
was
who's more famous? Take that, dad.
I think that was one thing I tried to aspire to when I was young. Was like my parents were icons in the town I live in, and now that they've kind of been out of the scene a little bit, like they want, my dad moved away, and then my mom's kind of like, she still does the same thing, but not as much DJing and all that. They kind of quit the nightlife once you get older to a point where it's like, all right, it's kind of fucking tasking. But like most of my life, at least until I got out of high school, was like I could easily just be like, yeah, this is my parents, and then I would have got the job, I would have did any of that. But I was like, I don't want them to know me as that. I want them to know me as me, you know,
Yeah,
because having someone, yeah, people are like, well, never having a foot in the door kind of helps. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want that, man. I think you need to work and make your own way. You know, if you are sucking off the teat of someone else's success or someone else's thing, then you're never going to have an open opportunity.
right. Yeah, that I never my parents, well, it's I guess my
Damn,
parents were
I've never
icons in
gotten
the
this
neighborhood,
personal
but
on a podcast before.
I know it's wild talking about our parents. Yeah, my dad he was never like an icon or something like that in the neighborhood, but definitely your parents, they tend to sometimes, I don't want to say romanticize, but when they tell you their stories of themselves, I don't even think it's intentional, but then they set this weird like bar where you feel like you might have to hit it. And then I think when you become an adult, you realize that that bar was imaginary that you made for yourself,
Well,
and
back
that
to the
that's
Michael
something.
Jackson thing.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
dad
exactly.
wanted him to be successful because he never obtained success. So it's
Our
like this
parents
whole
didn't
entire,
chemically castrate us though, so
thank God.
yeah,
But if I could
yeah,
do the moonwalk like that and sing like, there's like Freddie Mercury. There's a few people that have like a perfect pitch. And it's like a rare gift where they're able to sense a pitch and hit any note.
yeah, yeah.
But if you,
I'm as
anybody out,
flat as a
I'm about to say,
goddamn
if
Metro
anybody
Detroit.
out there listening listens to Michael Jackson again, just think that he was chemically castrated for his voice to sound like that. And when you listen to it, you'll be able to hear it.
Mm,
It just doesn't sound right after. It doesn't sound the same as when it did before. After I told you that, it's like when you see the FedEx arrow, you see the arrow inside of the E on and the
Yeah,
F
as
on
soon as you see
FedEx.
something different, yeah, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, it's
I know what you're
exactly
talking
like
about.
that.
Yeah, the arrow between yeah, the E and the X. There's an arrow that FedEx always on the move. Or Amazon, that little thing is a smile.
Yep.
As soon as you see it, you can't unsee it.
The world un
Symbolism, Illuminati.
Illuminati. The world unlocks when all is folded out.
That's funny.
Well, we've been going for about almost, yeah, about an hour and a half. Is there anything you want to wrap on?
I just want to tell everyone, look out for Libservative. If you feel like you're disenfranchised by both the left and the right, we're eventually going to have a home for all of us to talk. We'll have
If
to
you were
have you on.
taken behind a shed at one point in your life, it's up to you.
If you need to open up about something. But no, you would definitely be a really good guest to have on there, Robbie, especially because you are someone who's just, I can tell when we talk, you're disenfranchised by both the left and the right because they're a
That
bunch of fucking idiots.
Well, I just feel like about anything, I don't have a side in anything. Like I see all these people fight for such a like these causes and stuff, and I'm like, I wish I fucking had something that I feel so much. I only care strongly about mental health, and then like I don't like power. I wish people that have it, I really want to fight against them so hard. I don't know why. It's not that like I don't know. I just don't have anything strongly where I would like be so invested in like all these people that make their whole entire life about this and never sleeping because of it. I'm like, I don't have anything like that in my life.
Yeah, it's wild that in America we all cheer for the underdog and the rebels in the movies when we're in reality like the empire. But yeah, man.
Is that anything?
Uh, I guess look out for Libservative. That's what I got for you.
What about Four Guys at Once?
Four Guys at Once is a thing that is on pause, but look out for that because we also might at any moment pop up with a new episode.
Just like herpes.
Just like herpes, we might just pop up out of nowhere. It's just so hard to get four people together, man. It's so goddamn hard when when you have four people that live separate lives, all on different paces. Because like Michael's the same age as you, and then Bert's an enigma. He just does his own thing, and then there's me and Belle, who are both family dads.
I'll selfishly relate it to this example. It's probably like trying to coordinate with all these people in different time zones that I try and talk to.
Oh yeah, exactly,
Somebody's
exactly like that. And you're
14
doing it with
hours
just
ahead.
two
I'm like,
people.
oh God.
Oh yeah, I know. That's basically That's so yeah.
We drain our lives for you guys.
We drained our
keep
lives.
that in your heart.
I went extra with my Trulies. Went basic bitch.
You killed 2 in this episode.
I did.
Good man.
You counted.
I did. I care about you.
Thanks, man.